Hi everyone, my name is Sabrina Torres, Student Activities Manager of the Multicultural and Student Activities Center. Welcome back to Virtual El Cafecito. Today, Aaron and I will be interviewing an instructor of the Department of Political Science and Philosophy, Mr. Manny Campos. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, glad to be here. A little rain today too, that's kind of nice.
Definitely. Alrighty, so let's get started. So our first question is, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I had breakfast this morning, and I had an assignment due last night, so already starting to grade assignments for this coming week. So my routine, I've found my new routine, so it's going great.
That's awesome. What would you consider your best strength?
Well, I think it's trying to find the positive in all situations. I mean, I was not good at that early on, but I think the older I get and the more experience I get, the more I try to find kind of the silver lining, and especially in the situation we're in, I think make the best out of it.
What fictional character do you identify with the most?
Captain America.
He's awesome. What is your favorite Starbucks drink?
Just black coffee. I know that sounds boring, but yeah.
No sugar?
No sugar, no cream, none of that extra stuff.
If you were famous, what do you think it would be for?
If I were what now? I'm sorry?
If you were famous, what do you think it would be for?
For being hilarious. Maybe a comedian.
Okay, so now we're going to switch over to me. We're going to do a 30-second challenge. How did you develop a passion for what you teach?
I really enjoy interacting with others. I'm a people person. And I think that, being a student as well and kind of being at Angelo State and living on this campus, my roots are here, West Texas. And so I think it really a self-grown passion about being an instructor. So I use my experiences for that reason.
What advice would you have right now during this period of online courses and physical isolation?
Find a routine. Also don't hesitate emailing your professors, and stay in contact with your friends, even if you're not able to hang out. Human conversations, communication is still very important, but also I can't stress this enough, staying active, going outside, even to walk around the block, take the dog out for a minute. I know we can't hang out with our friends, but staying active is very important.
Great words of advice, definitely. What would you say is the most out of character thing you have ever done?
The most out of character thing I've ever done is trying to sing country music. I'm a musician, so trying to sing country music is very out of character, but I try.
Hey, that's all that matters. You can only try. Describe yourself to us in 3 words.
Passionate, loyal, and stubborn.
Awesome. Hey, Aaron, you missed one question really quick.
Which one?
Who is your biggest inspiration?
Oh, my bad. Who is your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration is probably President Lyndon Johnson in terms of historical figures. Wasn't a perfect man, but was able to overcome a lot and really did a lot for the least of these, our brothers and sisters. So I really look up to and inspired by his legacy.
Definitely. That's a good one.
Alrighty. Who or what is the all-time favorite, your favorite 90s jam?
My favorite 90s jam, Black Hole Sun, Soundgarden. I don't know if you kids know who that is, but fantastic.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you have, especially for first-generation students?
Well, again, being a first-generation student, I do think it's important you can't ask stupid questions. Ask all the questions you need to do. Don't be shy. Make relationships with your professors, and just really asking questions, but really you have to show up. I know that's stressed a lot of students, but going to class when we have that opportunity is very, very important. And that's I would say at least 50% of the battle.
Definitely, I definitely agree with you on that one. What would your superhero be?
My superhero, well, I did say Captain America is a fictional, but I would say Iron Man because he's witty and likes, science fiction and all that kind of stuff. So that I would say that's me. And rocking facial hair, even though I haven't shaved in a while, but yeah.
So we have another 30-second challenge. What does the future hold for ASU?
I think the future holds a lot of growth still. Even in this circumstance, I think we're going to be a better institution. We're going to be in front of a lot of universities in terms of how we've been able to adapt. Certainly wasn't perfect, but I think I'm really proud of my colleagues in my department on campus, as well as our students and staff for really stepping up to the plate. So I think as far as the future is concerned, I think we're going to be a stronger, I think a safer, and just a better institution.
Alrighty, how sneaky were you as a teenager?
I was very sneaky, but I was sneaky because I tried to be cool all the time and I wanted to act like I wasn't a nerd, but I was kind of reading books all the time, even though I kind of get made fun of for doing that. So I was kind of a library nerd, and I wish I were still a library nerd.
I think we all take it in stride. We just we always go through phases and try to grow out of different things, but it's always kind of in our roots. What was the last gift you gave someone?
The last gift I would say was one of my favorite gifts that I gave was I had my mom over for her birthday back in the fall, and I made her calabacitas for a meal with chicken and homemade rice, tortillas, and all sorts of stuff. And being able to do that for my mom was really important to me because she'd always been the cook, and my dad as well. So being able to have them over and share with them what they've taught me, and then for her to say it was really good, that was a great gift.
I think that'd be any a reward from someone's mother to say, "Hey, you made this dish amazing," and especially calabacitas.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's tough. It's not. It's it took me some time, a lot of mistakes, trial and error.
What is your biggest phobia?
My biggest phobia is flying, probably. I've flown, I was an intern in DC and stuff, and I remember being terrified to get on the airplane. Flying is my biggest phobia.
What is your best advice for students who are just learning how to manage their budgets?
Be sure to ask yourself the question, do you need this or do you want this? That would be my biggest advice.
Do you have any tips for beating boredom during physical isolation?
I'm sorry, what would you cut out?
Do you have any tips for beating boredom during this period of physical isolation?
Just really, to find a routine, even if you kind of keep a calendar schedule still, like you would have normally done when we were on campus. Just kind of say, okay, at 8 a.m. I'm going to eat breakfast and then maybe go work out, or keep a routine, a schedule written out. That to me would be very helpful.
In your opinion, what do you think is something that someone should do at least once in their life?
Water rafting. Yeah, and I can't swim, which I just admitted that to you guys, and I've done it twice, and terrifying. I won't ever skydive like Dr. Flores said, but I would recommend doing it. It's very exhilarating, but I've done it twice. I'm done doing it, but at least do it once.
Name 5 ways a stapler is useful but doesn't staple anything. Or doesn't staple things.
To keep the door open, to use as a paperweight. This is a confusing question because I don't really know what else you would use it for. So I probably forfeit the rest. If you guys have suggestions on 5 other things, I'm open to it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. This is a little tough of a question. Okay,
hardest question I've ever been asked.
What makes you happy?
Singing music and performing, and I've been doing that a lot over this break. I have a piano at home, and when I'm not teaching, I'm a performer and a singer and piano player, and it makes me really happy because I think it makes us heal when we're broken, and I think it makes us happy when we're kind of feeling down.
If you could interview anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, wow. I would probably interview Steve Carell from The Office.
Oh, that's awesome. What song best describes your work ethic?
What song best describes my work ethic? I would say Working Man Blues by Merle Haggard.
What mystery do you wish you had the answer to?
Where do all the ships go that sailed to the Bermuda Triangle?
Ooh, that is a good one.
Because nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows. It's crazy. Conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, truth or dare time.
I would say truth.
Truth. All right. What is something you've done to try and be cooler?
Well, when I first moved to Angelo State, I became friends with these people that their daughter was having her 16th birthday. And I dressed up as to embarrass her, I dressed up as a mouse with the full, like, almost kind of a Roscoe costume. And I had a cheese tray. So I was dressed up as this mouse with a cheese tray going around this 16-year-old with all her 16-year-old friends, embarrassing the crud out of her. So I was, that was probably right up there.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I might have the costume still somewhere.
Oh, you'd have to show us at some point then.
I just don't know if I'd fit in it.
All right. What is the scariest movie you have ever seen? You know, tops everything else.
28 Days Later.
Oh, that's a good one. What is your motto or philosophy in life?
Well, it comes from a quote from Winston Churchill. I know this sounds rehearsed, but I've used this for years. I've used it with my students. It's that at the end of the day, it's not about our successes. It's sometimes we have to focus on when we do fail, and which we all will. It's very healthy to fail. It's how we get up and how we rise above those failures, because I think those are really teachable moments. So it is paraphrasing Winston Churchill, but I think it applies to so many things in our lives. You're not going to get it right the first time, but sometimes it's about learning to overcome your losses and your challenges.
I think it's a great part of growing and, you know, realizing that we're human and you can learn from exactly how you stated it. Are you more likely to be 10 minutes late or early?
I'm more likely to just show up right when the bell rings or that minute drops. I'm not really early or late. When I was younger, I was early all the time. That's how I was raised. But now I'm a little bit, I show up right when I need to be. It's a science too, though, and it's an art.
Punctuality, that's admirable. What is your guilty late night food craving?
There are these cookies that I just kind of found. They're animal crackers covered in frosting, and they're pink. Have you heard of these?
Yes. Yes.
So, this is not necessarily a lie, but I might or might not have eaten an entire bag in about a day and a half. So those are things that I crave late at night. So yeah.
Those are really good. A good food night craving.
Yeah.
Cookie. What is something you like to do the old-fashioned way?
I would say the old-fashioned way would be, but going back to music, is to actually play out of acoustic instruments and not everything being electric and programmed. And I mean, although I appreciate that, but I do think the old-fashioned way is just sitting down in your living room like we're doing right now, you know, and just having these intimate, whether it's an acoustic performance or a conversation like we're trying to do here. So I think kind of going back to the roots of music is kind of the old-fashioned things that I like.
What would you like to be remembered for?
I'd like to be remembered for, you know, hopefully trying to make the world a little better. And, you know, even if, you know, again, we're not perfect, but I think trying to make people smile in the midst of adversity. That's always been my goal is, you know, sometimes in lecture, you know, I know that talking about political science can get kind of dry, but, you know, sometimes if you can make your students engaged by smiling and, you know, making a couple jokes, I think that's important. It's important to have a sense of humor. So if I, you know, when I go, I'd like for people to remember he had a sense of humor.
Do you think there are aliens out there in the world?
Absolutely.
What song can you not help but dance to?
Even though it's been played out, every time I hear Happy by Pharrell, it's kind of old school now at this point. But when I hear it, I kind of want to move. I'm not going to demonstrate.
I have to agree. Who do you think should be invited to next week's El Cafecito with 35 questions?
I think you should invite my wonderful dean, John Klingeman.
He's been voted, I think, the last time too, by Mr. Flores, Dr. Flores.
Yeah, I mean, I think he. Well, although you know what? I hate to hijack this interview, but Dr. Flores, by the way, said the two funniest people he knew were John Klingeman and Manny Campos. By the way, I'm funnier than John Klingeman. I want the world to know that.
Well, that's a bold statement. We may have to do that. But
I'm ready for his rebuttal.
Well, that kind of wraps up our El Cafecito this morning. Thank you for joining us. You guys tune in next week to see yours truly get interviewed by my co-host, Sabrina. Thank you.
Nice.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. See ya.